Captain Fatima's Big Boat Adventure. The sun was hiding behind soft, gray clouds, and a salty breeze tickled Fatima's cheeks. Today was a very special day. Fatima, her mother Gulsen, and her father Levent were going on a charter boat adventure. At the beach house, their tabby cat, Figaro, gave a long stretch and a sleepy meow. He was staying behind to guard the porch while the family headed to the docks. Fatima smiled, her eyes bright with excitement. She couldn't wait to see what lived beneath the waves. The family arrived at the big white boat. The wind was blowing, making the water dance with little white caps. Perfect weather for a boat trip. Gulsen helped Fatima get settled on the deck. The boat felt steady and strong. "Are you ready, Captain Fatima?" Gulsen asked with a wink. Fatima didn't need words to show her joy. Her big smile and the way she leaned into the wind said everything. The engine hummed to life, and they began to glide away from the shore. As they moved down the river, a giant green drawbridge appeared ahead. "Look up, Fatima," Gulsen called out. High on the very top of the metal bridge, a large osprey had built a messy nest of sticks. The big bird sat proudly on the railing, watching the boat pass underneath. Fatima looked up, marveling at how high the bird lived. The drawbridge looked like a giant puzzle piece against the gray sky as they sailed right through the middle. The boat slowed down near some floating buoys. Levent pulled up a heavy metal cage from the water. It was full of oysters. "These are oyster farms," Levent explained. He showed Fatima how they start as tiny babies and grow inside these cages. It takes 18 whole months for an oyster to grow big enough for the market. Fatima reached out to see the bumpy, muddy shells. Each oyster was a little filter, helping to keep the river water clean and clear. Next, the captain pulled up a crab trap. Inside were 3 bright blue crabs. Their claws were a beautiful shade of turquoise. Levent told Fatima that crabs have hard shells on the outside, and as they grow, they have to pop out of their old shells and grow new, bigger ones. This is called molting. The captain placed a crab on a tray, and Fatima gently reached out to touch its hard, bumpy back. The crab waved its claws as if to say hello. "It's time for the crabs to go home," Gulsen said. Together, the family watched as the crabs were lowered back toward the water. With a quick splash, the blue crabs tumbled back into the river, scuttling down to the sandy bottom. Fatima watched the ripples grow smaller and smaller. She liked knowing the crabs were back in their underwater world, ready to find their next snack or perhaps grow an even bigger shell. Then came the best part of the whole trip. The captain invited Fatima to the helm. "You're in charge now, Captain Fatima," he said. Gulsen steered the wheelchair right up to the big, silver steering wheel. Fatima reached out and gripped the wheel. She felt the power of the boat as she turned it slightly to the left, then back to the right. The wind caught her hair, and she felt like the queen of the sea, guiding her family across the wavy water. Now it was time to fish. Levent cast a line into the water and soon felt a tug. "I've got something," he cheered. He reeled in 2 silver fish that made a funny croak-croak sound. "These are croaker fish," Levent laughed, holding them up for Fatima to see. They were wiggly and noisy. Fatima watched them closely, listening to their strange little voices. Fishing was full of surprises, and the croakers were the funniest ones yet. Gulsen cast her line next and felt a very heavy weight. When she reeled it in, everyone laughed. She had caught a giant muddy oyster instead of a fish. "Even the oysters want to join the fun," Gulsen joked. Since they were just visiting, Levent and Gulsen carefully released the noisy croakers and the big oyster back into the river. They watched their catches disappear into the deep green water, leaving only bubbles behind. As the boat returned to the dock, the family felt tired but very happy. They headed back to the beach house. where Figaro the cat was waiting for them on the mat. That evening, they sat down for a delicious seafood dinner, talking about everything they had learned. Fatima looked at her mom and dad and knew this was a day she would always remember. They had explored the river, met the creatures of the deep, and most importantly, they had done it all together.